Hello and welcome. My name is Kyle FtW, and welcome back to another Call of Duty Vanguard video. Today we're back with another map guide video. Today we're taking a look at the map Haus, which is of course actually my first non-beta map guide video here for Call of Duty Vanguard. So as you guys can see here from the mini map, this is a 3-lane map for sure. It's definitely not a kind of, well, it's not a 3-lane map, if that makes any sense at all. But as you guys can see, there are 3 lanes here, and we are going to be covering this map here today. And this is honestly one of the more popular maps here in Call of Duty Vanguard. Everyone really seems to like this map a lot, including myself. Just depends on kind of the game you get. I personally refuse to play Blitz on this map, but I know that is where people started to really enjoy this map. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. So starting off here first and foremost with the spawns, we have one spawn point right here. We have another spawn point back here, which is kind of obviously here in this open area, and those are the 2 main spawn points from where I currently am. And now one thing about this map to really keep in mind and to know of is that this map is kind of unforgiving. You get spawn trapped a ton on this map, and I mean a ton. And so it's kind of hard to come up with a strategy when you're being spawn trapped. But honestly, one of the better things that you can do is kind of just walk out here and just as you spawn, just keep your sights up. And then if there's an enemy showing, then you just take them out if you can. But the odds are that it's going to be kind of difficult to consistently do well on this map because of the fact that, especially if you're playing Blitz or Assault, where there can be a lot of enemies, you're going to get spawn trapped a lot, and that's just something that you kind of have to accept when you play this map, that you're probably not going to be doing the greatest. You just have to keep that in the back of your mind. So now let's go ahead and head over here to the left and cover this route first, because this is kind of one of my more favorite routes. Again, here's one of the first bits of destructible environments here on the map. These 2 areas can be destroyed, and they kind of are used as a route to get to those spawns to take out enemies that could be over here. Also, this allows you to go through this door here, and then also get a nice little spawn trap on enemies here as well. But if you are an enemy that's spawning back here and you're getting spawn trapped, you can either crouch right here behind this little, whatever this is, this little, I guess it's technically a training facility, so this little piece of cover. You can crouch right here, take out the enemies that are trying to spawn trap you, and then kind of move on. Also, now if I go this way, this gets me into one of the more main areas of the map. Again, from this perspective, enemies will spawn here, so keep that in mind. Enemies like to run, specifically they like to run right here, slide and shoot you, so keep that in mind for sure. The enemies will tend to do that from time to time. Also, running through here, be careful about enemies sitting in this corner as well as this corner, because they can take you off guard pretty easily if you're not careful. Now this is kind of this is a dangerous part of the map. That is a destructible environment right there, which I'll show you guys here in a minute. At least early game, a lot of the times when I come over here to capture B, which B is right here on this X, enemies will shoot me through there because they know I'm there. So you just keep that in mind. If you're capturing B, I'm pretty sure you can capture from right here. I would honestly even recommend going prone at this point, because now I am pretty much covered from enemies that are to my left, and I can easily just take out those enemies that might be right there. But if there are no enemies over here while I'm capturing B, I can just come up here, maybe even mount on this and take out enemies that are coming from there, maybe enemies that are even coming from right there, and then enemies that are coming from there as well. Now moving on, we can go ahead and come up here, which is one of my more favorite areas to be. This is a destructible environment as well. But this gets destroyed pretty quickly because, as I said, Haus is one of the smaller maps in the game. Might even be the smallest map in the game next to Dome. So this gets destroyed very early game. But one thing that you can do here is you can use this to defend B and get enemies that are right there. You can also use this to take enemies that are right there at that doorway. And you can even use it to kind of get a spawn trap to enemies that are coming from there, which is very useful as well. Now coming down here, again, I can use this piano as cover if I so wish to take out enemies that are right there, even to take out enemies that are right there. But again, a lot of the times, at least from my experience, whenever I play this map, I tend to stick to this route here, which I'll show you guys in a second, and this route here. I never really spend much time in the middle. The good part about this middle area right here is that it is a good long shot spot, but unfortunately it is pretty hard to see enemies all the way back here, because all you'll see is kind of their just red name tag, especially if you play on high FOV like I do. I play on 100, just in case you guys were wondering. But if you play on 120, those enemies that are way over there are going to be even harder to see, so keep that in mind. Now, once again, pushing through this way, again, watch out for enemies sitting in these sitting in these two corners, because enemies might just sit here and wait for you. Also, one thing to keep in mind, shotguns are incredibly popular on this map. There's nothing you can do to counter shotguns except by stay back. That's pretty much all you can do to counter shotguns, so just keep that in mind. That shotguns pretty much run the show on this map, so SMGs and shotguns are probably your best bet. You could obviously get away with using assault rifles and LMGs depending on how the game goes. I see a lot of LMG usage here on this map as well, but for the most part, SMGs and shotguns run the show. Now we are into the other spawn already very quickly. This is actually one of the better spawns to actually get a spawn trap going, because there's more cover for you as the enemy that is attacking the spawn. So I can sit right here, take out enemies that are coming across here. I can even wait for enemies that are coming, you know, right there in front of me, which is very useful. So again, very useful spawn trap, and now we can actually get into the spawns. So the first spawn over here on Das Haus for the other team is in this little square right here, and the other spawn is over here in this sort of L-shaped room right here. So again, if you spawn here, keep your sights up, try and get enemies that are right there, because that is the destructible environment that I just destroyed. I showed you guys the opposite perspective a little bit ago. So again, you could either mount here to take out the enemies that might be on that head glitch, or you could even mount on here to take out enemies that might be spawn trapping you. Honestly, I recommend using, which is weird to say, but if you're being spawn trapped a lot, switch to a higher powered scope. And I mean, you can use my 4x scope that I'm using here, or you can use a 2x sight. Either way, if you're being spawn trapped a lot on this map, or just in general, it's really helpful to have a higher power sight so you can actually see those enemies that are bigger. You can obviously lower your FOV if that's a problem. But if you're having a big sight, or if you're being spawn trapped, a high zoom sight will help you out a ton, because instead of, you know, having to kind of struggle to see enemies, you can just get that big zoomed sight and easily take out enemies that are spawn trapping you, which is always nice, because again, no one likes being spawn trapped. Again, vice versa. I showed you guys the perspective from over here. This is probably a good long shot spot. I can definitely see it being a popular long shot spot for going for camo challenges, but for the most part, I wouldn't recommend spending too much time here unless you have a sniper, an LMG, or an assault rifle, because again, it just is going to be kind of hard to see, especially if I have my low zoom SMG here. Now that this whole area is out of the way, we can go ahead and jump into the next side route, which is actually one of my least traveled areas of the map, to be completely honest. I did make sure I played this map 10 times before I made this map guide, because again, that's kind of what I am doing. And I've actually found it kind of difficult to go into this route over here specifically, because this is a very long range area. I'm just going to open up everything real quick just so that I can show you guys it more in depth. But as you guys can see, if I do spawn over here in this L-shaped spawn, this is a huge area, and I pretty much always get killed whenever I come here. I don't know why. Usually because enemies are like to lay prone over there, or I'm sure they even will mount on that wall. But a lot of the times, I don't go this way because I pretty much always die 99% of the time. But nonetheless, I am going to cover it here for you guys as well. So again, if you're fighting right here and things are getting a little bit too crazy or you can't see, then you can just run through this door, although you're going to be at the middle, but you can get a look over to the B objective there. Enemies that like to lay prone there, enemies on that head glitch, and then enemies over at that spawn. But then once you get that gunfight done, then definitely run back and try and get over to that route. Or obviously, if you have a sniper rifle or an AR, you can just take out enemies that are way over there, which is always nice. Now running over here, this is sort of a circular area where this is that destructible environment I showed you guys earlier, where enemies will take you out on B, which is always useful. Again, this is almost always destroyed, and I actually even recommend destroying it, because by destroying it, it basically makes B even harder to capture, because as you guys can see, I was proning right there earlier in the video, but now from right here, easily can take out enemies that are all around B, which again is very useful. Also over here, enemies will like to sit on, you know, these little tire areas, as well as sit behind the doors. People do like to camp in this little circular room, so just keep that in mind as well. You know, always be on your toes on this map, because action is going to happen crazily. It seems simple, and everything I'm saying seems simple when there is no one on the map, but once you get into 10v10, I think is what Blitz is, 8v8 and 6v6, this map can be pretty crazy, and there's a lot of stuff happening, so just keep in mind that people do like to camp in this circular area. Over here, this allows you to get straight through this route to where we just were in the beginning of the video, which covers that spawn, as well as it can get me straight into the enemy spawn here. But again, coming through this building, you don't want to super sprint like I'm doing. You want to keep your sights up, wait for enemies to show themselves, take them out. Then you can even take them out from right here, which is a spawn point. And then you can move on over to here. But again, I rarely ever spend time on this route of the map because it's just a little bit more risky. And unlike over there, where there is walls separating, you know, there's that separates this from being a super long range area. This has no walls. This is more of the LMG, assault rifle, sniper rifle area of the map, even marksman rifles. This is probably where I would go, honestly, if I was going to go for those challenges, as long as I had a high-powered scope and could see the enemies that might be mounting on there. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this map guide video here on the map Haus. Hopefully, this was able to help you guys out at least a little bit. If it did, definitely leave your support down below. Either leave a like or you know, leave a comment if it didn't help you out. But obviously, these map guides are to help you. But again, I'm bound to miss something. Not on purpose, just on accident, because of course, you know, I've only played the map 10 times. And also, while I'm talking about everything, I can't possibly think of every possible scenario you're going to be getting in on these maps, just because that's just not realistic. Because every time I play this map, it's a new map. I always go about playing it differently. And as I said earlier, also, it's kind of hard to take advice when there is literally spawn trapping happening and everything like that. But again, hopefully help you out. If you guys did enjoy this video, though, a like is always appreciated. If you want to check out any of my other previous map guide videos, I will leave them all linked down below in the playlist in the description, as well as my previous episodes will be at the end of the video as well. Again, I've been really enjoying Vanguard. Hopefully you guys have been as well. I'll see you guys all on another Call of Duty Vanguard video very soon.